Okay, I'm at Broadway and 42nd Street, the entrance to Times Square. I'm going to be videoing my travels back to 2nd Avenue. Now we're walking east on 42nd Street. It's about 3 a.m., November 6th, 2024. In New York City, early morning hours, middle of the week. New York City. It's around 3 a.m. and there's activity on the street. Oh, we're approaching 5th Avenue. This is 5th Avenue. This is Bryant Park. Fixing the sidewalk. If you like empty streets, walk the streets of New York City at 3 a.m. We get the empty streets. Get your see one thing. You see, there's an element in this city, not in the city, in society, that poorly socialized. The socialization process fails for them. for whatever reason. Could be biological, could be sociological, could be a combination of both factors that they cannot integrate into the mainstream of society and follow and uh, and restrain their behavior. So they act in ways that are antisocial, that pose a threat to other people, but to them, they think their behavior is normal, and even justified. But it's the way it is. I mean, at any given moment in any society, there's a certain number of people who simply are not properly socialized. The socialization process for them did not work. And so they act in ways that are contrary to what people would consider to be appropriate behavior that allows them to interact with other people in a cooperative way. This is Fifth Avenue. Now, I'm not surprised by conditions in Times Square per se, but what did surprise me is how seedy Times Square has become. It is as seedy and sleazy as I've ever seen it. I've never seen it more, and this includes how conditions that existed in Times Square in the 1970s. Okay, it's sleazier now. Times Square is a focal point, a magnet for individuals who have serious socialization issues. Times Square is one of the few places in New York where the police are actually out in force. They're actually visible. They're actually trying to deter crime. So you have a certain group of people in a society who are predators. They prey on other people. And their actions are random. It's not as if they're part of some kind of syndicate, that is systematically terrorizing people. They act out on their own for reasons or for no reason, or whatever the case, that cannot be fathomed by anybody. It can only be speculated. As a result, these individuals commit violent street crimes. They will act aggressively towards total strangers for reasons, as I mentioned before, that nobody can ascertain. They just do it. And there's no deterrence against this. These individuals are not deterred by the presence of authority. It doesn't deter them. It may blunt them, it may blunt their activities for a while, but it doesn't change their fundamental behavior. It doesn't make them it doesn't make them better citizens. I'll put it to you like that. And there's no reasoning with these individuals because what they're doing is irrational. If any person goes out of their way to deliberately attack other people, prey on other people, just to prey on them, that is a very serious problem, to put it mildly. And one for which there is no known satisfactory solution. See, right now, across the street from Grand Central Terminal, which is closed right now, this is a restaurant that used to be a Bowery Savings Bank. That's right, this used to be a bank. You know that? You know? I just had a brief interaction with a street person. But here's looks like Con Ed crew doing some road work. Oh. The fact that this Con Ed crew is out just adds immeasurably, to safety. Not that they're police, but the fact that they're here is very good. Oh, yeah, they're doing major work here. Major work. They're building some underground passageways. You know. So, and one of the workers told me this once. I'm not really sure what they're building here. But whatever it is, it's taking them a long time. It looks like it's a big project. It's about 3 a.m. and there's activity on the street. Which is good and bad. Good because it provides more security. Bad because it creates a disturbance. Usually there's a street people inside there, but today there isn't. I mean, this morning there isn't. Now, in another 3 hours or so, maybe 2 hours, this place will be bustling again, like a beehive that's coming out of a period of rest. For isn't this what society is? One big beehive? Deli is closed. Well, Donald Trump won the election. And now he'll be 47th president of the United States. I mean, I said the Democrats don't put up all kind of obstacles. They probably will. But he won. He won decisively. He won the popular vote. This vote represents a major shift away from the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party has lost millions of members, and for good reason. The Democratic Party was pandering to a small group of left-wingers who hate the United States and took over the party and redirected it in a direction that ran contrary to the wishes of the vast majority of the American people. The American people do not want an open border. The American people do not want high taxes. The American people do not want to defund the police. The American people do not want to fight proxy wars. The American people want to support Israel. None of these things the Democratic Party wanted. So, as a result, they've lost control of Congress, and they've lost control of the White House, and they already lost control of the Supreme Court. So they have all three branches of government controlled by the same party. So for the next 2 years, the Republican Party is going to have an open field to pursue its program. Now, one of the things that I want the Trump administration to do is to launch a major investigation of the college campuses in this country to ascertain whether or not they're providing cover for political operatives who have connections with terrorist organizations. I think that's a very serious area of concern that must be investigated. Now, another task that the Trump administration must do is reimpose control of the border. Not close it, but just control it. Control who comes through it. You know, we need people coming into the country, but you just can't have people coming in who are not properly vetted. That's for security reasons. And also, Congress must pass a legislation that will codify in law the federal government's support of law enforcement in its efforts to deter crime. One of the worst policies the Democratic Party ever pushed, or any political party ever pushed, was defunding the police. That was one of the most outrageous policy decisions ever, possibly in the history of humanity. The Democratic Party went on record as believing that the police are somehow the cause of crime, and that crime is not so much a public safety issue, but a mental health issue, which is absurd. Crime is a public safety issue, must be treated as a public safety issue. Criminal behavior is not a mental illness. Criminal behavior is criminal behavior. It's behavior that poses a threat to other people. And the Democratic Party wanted to reimagine the police as being agents of social change and not representatives of the people put there to maintain law and order. Well, at any rate, that's some of the reasons why the Democratic Party lost, and lost decisively. Anyway, we're walking south on Lexington Avenue. The weather is breezy, a breeze coming from the south. And since I'm walking south, that makes it a headwind. That happens a lot in the winter, I find. I'll be walking no matter what direction I'm walking. It's always I seem to be always walking in a headwind. Rarely, if ever, in a tailwind. Okay, now I made a left turn. We're walking east on East 32nd Street. That's the Department of Sanitation truck. We're approaching 3rd Avenue. looking east on East 32nd Street towards the direction of 2nd Avenue. See, this is it. New York City at its quietest. Middle of the early morning hours. Yet it's not completely quiet. Okay, 2nd Avenue, 32nd Street.